So next up, we've got Ketlen Vieira versus Raquel Pennington. And Ketlen Vieira's last two fights have been against women who, are somewhat of a, from a bygone era. You have Holly Holm and Misha Tate, who are both floating around like 36, 37, and then 41 for Holly Holm. Both really associated with Ronda Rousey's eminence of the UFC. I think Ketlen looked really well rounded, and I'm sure you'll agree, very good, very well rounded against Holly Holm. She possesses some really good stand up that actually made Holly pretty uncomfortable and shoot for takedowns. And Ketlen Vieira defended all them really well. Not that Holly Holm is a wrestler, she's quite the opposite, but really good takedown defense for Ketlen Vieira. She puts her opponents in a lot of trouble with her submissions as well. That's one of her favorite things to do is like defend a takedown, instantly counter with a submission. And then she also walks opponents down and snaps off a couple of good jabs every now and then. Pretty good against the cage, clinching opponents. I think she's pretty tough and well-rounded. And when it comes to the money line, this is pretty tight. So I think I'm actually going to stack a couple of units on Ketlen Vieira this weekend because I think Ketlen makes Raquel Pennington also look like she's from a bygone era as well this weekend. Raquel Pennington had her shots in the past and, was pretty successful, but I do believe that this is Ketlen Vieira's fight. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to be siding with Ketlen Vieira in this one. Raquel Pennington is a boxing stylist, but both of these people have a common, both of these fighters have a common win. I believe it's a win, but they have a common fight over Holly Holm. We're looking at, okay, so that's what I thought it was. Raquel Pennington, she had her fight against Holly Holm back 2 years and 10 months ago. So that would make it back at the beginning of 2020. And a lot of that loss came from Holly Holm doing what Holly Holm is sometimes known to do, and that's to back you up against the fence and get a lot of control time up against the fence in a clinch, attempting a takedown. Ketlen Vieira is a little bit more similar in the style that she's going to be strong and she's going to be able to push Rocky Pennington back up against the cage. And if that's how the MMA judging is going to go, that amount of siding is maybe going to go to Ketlen Vieira because I think she's going to be stronger here. Raquel Pennington also has the ability to push people back up against the cage. And that's why I'm not as excited for this fight. You talk about Holly Holm is a cage pusher, I guess, as a term. Raquel Pennington does a very similar thing, and Ketlen Vieira would need to. She'll do a very similar thing. These women that, I mean, I guess to their credit, they know what's going to win them points and what's going to win them, favor with the judges, and they're going to go out and they're going to do that. So credit on them. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I think if we're talking about pure MMA, Ketlen Vieira has the ability on the ground that's going to kind of bumper ahead of Raquel Pennington in this way. I think both of them, when it comes to standing and boxing, I think Ketlen Vieira, is going to be able to do what she needs to do when it comes to boxing to contend with Rocky Pennington. I don't see this one being finished by either girl, so I'm definitely want to take this one by decision. I'm going to go Ketlen Vieira by decision. I think there's just more ways for her to get it done. I think she's a stronger fighter, so if it does get pushed up against the fence for a long period of time, I think that only plays a little bit more towards what her style is going to be. She's going to have the jiu-jitsu as a background, and then when it comes to striking, it's too close there to give Raquel Pennington an advantage. That's going to make me confident in picking her for a decision. So for all of those reasons, I'm going Ketlen Vieira by decision to get it done here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think maybe this line being even is a little bit predatory on Vegas's part because personally, I mean, listen, I might be putting my foot in my mouth here come Saturday, but I don't see, like you said, many ways for Raquel Pennington to win. But Raquel Pennington does have like a little bit more, name recognition. And oddly enough, where I've heard her name the most over the past like year in one setting? Take a wild guess.
At work.
No. That would be funny though. I do have a blue collar job and work with a lot of guys,
and her name is Rocky. Like, yeah, it's gonna.
But no, actually, it was. So I followed the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial somewhat closely.
Oh yeah, her friend, right? Her friend, Raquel Pennington.
Best friends with Amber Heard, and
not this
that trial.
Different Raquel Pennington, right?
No, the same.
Oh, I thought it was a different. I thought it was a different Raquel Pennington.
No, it's the same. One and the
Oh,
same,
get
the UFC
out.
fighter. Yeah, because you would hear during the trial, like, so like either side's judge would be like, "Oh, well, was Rocky there to witness like you putting your hands on Johnny Depp and like stuff like that?" And it was pretty interesting. I think Amber Heard, she learned a couple of moves from Raquel Pennington and used them on Johnny Depp. You saw some of the pictures of him in that trial. He looked pretty banged up. But you're allowed to say that though because he won. So, but yeah, that was just wild tidbit of information. A good Jeopardy question for you. Um, and super strange that the two of them would be best friends like that, and that she would be staying in Johnny Depp's house. But
Well, with
yeah,
that being said, it would be fantastic if Ketlen Vieira got as fucked up. Well, not as fucked up. That I'm venturing into crazy territory. But if we're talking about in a fight, and if Raquel Pennington taught Amber Heard the moves that fucked up Johnny Depp,
right.
I don't think Ketlen Vieira is going to have such a disparity in fighting acumen in this fight. I think we would be lucky if we got action
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that was in that
true.
that Amber Heard fight. I think this is going to be a lot of clinch control time up against the cage, or throwing strikes at each other, far outside each other's range. Um, I
Right.
don't think this is. I would be shocked if we get together next week and we're like, how about that Ketlen Vieira Rocky Pennington fight, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.